So I've recently released the, let's call it the prototype version of the Astrohacker terminal. The Astrohacker terminal is actually a bundle of tools that work together to help people with what I call agentic software development. Basically what it is a terminal with a web browser inside and a few other tools, including a shell and an editor that I personally use. And I would like to demonstrate this to you guys because there are some very unique features of Astrohacker that's completely unlike anything else. So let's just go ahead and take a look at it. So I'm looking at the terminal right now. It is based on Ghosty. I'm going to go ahead and open up a split window, and on the right-hand side, I'm going to open up astrohacker.com. So this is the most important feature of Astrohacker. It is a web browser inside of a terminal. So all I have to do is type in this command ahweb astrohacker.com, and this is going to open up a web browser and look at astrohacker.com. Now the cool thing I can do with this is, number one, I can actually access multiple different browser engines at the same time. So not only can I simply open a web browser in my terminal, in fact, let me just go ahead and close it just so you can see what happens. As soon as I close it, we go back to the shell, right? So the web browser opens inside the shell as though it were a normal application. But actually, we're way better than that because the one on the right is actually Chromium. You can see in the bottom right, it says Chromium Default 3. Let's go ahead and open up another one, but let's do this differently. We're going to say Browser WebKit. You can actually open multiple different browser engines in the same window at the same time. So here we have Chrome and WebKit open at the same time. Of course, they look the same because they both render this specific website the exact same. But they might not render your website the exact same. Furthermore, what we can do is we can do something cool. I can actually open up, instead of opening a different web browser, let's actually open up a different profile. So let's open up a work profile. This will take one moment here. Okay. So now we're opening up a different profile. Now in the bottom right, you can see Chromium Default 3 and Chromium Work 1. So what that is I'm opening two different profiles at the same time with the same browser. So this is the only terminal in the world that lets you open a web browser inside the terminal pane as though it were a normal terminal application. It is also the only browser in the world that lets you run multiple different browser engines in the same window at the same time. And the way all this works is it's based on a protocol called TermSurf. I'm going to launch some information about this soon. It's all open source, so you can actually just browse the source code if you want to and infer what it is. But essentially what it is a inter-process communication protocol based on protobufs and Unix domain sockets. And then what I did is I forked all of the major browser engines, Chromium, WebKit, and Ladybird. I'm currently working on Gecko right now. And essentially added this protocol. So there is a fork of Ghosty, which is the terminal. There are all the web browser engines. And then there's something I call the Web TUI, which is the web application that you run inside of a terminal. These three things communicate with a inter-process communication protocol. It's sort of three-way. Each one communicates with the other ones. And it runs these daemons in the background, the browser daemons, which stay running and manage tabs and stuff like this. And then you can run as many of them as you want or need. They interface with the window and with the Web TUI with this protocol to let you open a real web browser inside your terminal pane. So you can think of TermSurf, the protocol, as a WebView overlay protocol for terminal emulators. So I want to move on and demonstrate a couple of other things with the terminal because this isn't just a web browser. I've also added a couple of other things. So right now I'm using Astrohacker Shell. You can see when you run it, it says Astrohacker Shell. All this is a convenient way of running Bash and GNU Shell at the same time. If I press Shift-Tab, I can switch shells. And what this lets me do is I can do cool things like export my envar, equals, or let's say, I think it works like this. Export my envar equals test. Let's just do it like this. I'm going to switch back to GNU Shell. Now I can type in, let's type in echo env.myEnvar, and we get test. So what this is this is the only shell in the world, as far as I'm aware, that lets you use an advanced modern shell like GNU Shell, but you can also Shift-Tab into Bash whenever you need, because if you use these AI coding agents, whenever you need to copy and paste something, they're probably giving you a Bash script. So this lets you use GNU Shell and Bash at the same time. Just press Shift-Tab to alternate between them. I'm also going to demonstrate an editor. So let me go back. I also created an editor. So let's see. We're in Dev Astrohacker. This is fine. Let's see what's in this folder. Let me just open up ahed readme.md. This is going to open up the README for the main Astrohacker repo. This is actually private, but I'll just show this to you anyway. And what the editor is, ahed, is a fork of an editor called Helix. And all I did was I wanted to satisfy the following problems. I wanted a editor that was monolithic so that I don't have to install a bunch of plugins from GitHub. Because as much as I love NeoVim, basically modern NeoVim, you're probably going to be installing some plugins from GitHub. And the problem with this is that what if they get hacked? So the supply chain hacking possibilities are a lot worse right now with NeoVim, simply because of the reliance of installing a bunch of plugins from tons and tons and tons of GitHub repos. So the point of the editor that I created is to create something sort of like that. It's frankly not as good as NeoVim with a bunch of plugins installed. But what it is it has low possibility of being compromised because there's only one install. You just install Astrohacker terminal, that's it. So you don't have to install all this other plugins from various people that might all get hacked. Because if one of those people gets hacked, then you get hacked. That's not good. So this is all about reducing this down to one install so that you don't have to worry about all these different attack vectors with these different repos from various people. So that's it for right now. I'm just going to go back to the terminal and show you. It's all for at astrohacker.com right now. You can see we've got the homebrew installation stuff set up right there. I'm updating the website regularly. I think that's enough for today. So for anybody on Mac OS with Apple Silicon, please try this out. I would appreciate any sort of feedback. There's also a Discord channel now, so if you want to communicate with me, I do have a new way. You can just go to the website, astrohacker.com, scroll to the bottom, find the Discord button, and join that. One more piece of news. I'm going to keep making videos about this, so please just stay tuned to the YouTube channel if you're curious to see more content about this. I'm going to be showing information about what I call agentic hacking or agentic software development, something like that. As within the previous year, like many software developers, I have essentially stopped writing code by hand. I have AI agents write at least 99% of the code for me. And I've learned a lot of techniques about this, and so I'm going to make some videos about that. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you very much for listening. See y'all later.